Good morning, دكتور.
Good morning. Good morning, Miraj. How's everything going?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm good. Your training is going well?
Yeah, all is well. Thank you.
All right. Best wishes.
Thank
Just
you.
need to
Thank
wait
you.
for a couple of minutes so Rand and others could join us.
Okay.
Right. Hello, where's the others?
I already called Rand and I already texted Saria and Jihan. I still have to text her.
Okay, I shall start because I can't wait for more than this.
Okay.
Please turn your camera on. Okay. Ah, there we go. Wait a minute. Hello, كيفك رند؟
صباح الخير دكتور.
صباح النور.
سوري بس احنا عندنا في اشي كونستراكشن الصوت ممكن عالي.
اعمل ميوت خلاص بس. All right, let's start, guys. I think we can't wait for more. Rand, I haven't received your translation project for this week. Why you haven't sent me?
Ah, yes, yes, I'll send it right now.
Yeah, please. Let me just because I need to observe it if there's any notes. Thank you very much, guys, for attending this lecture. As we agreed before, the midterm will be on the 17th, صح? And that's as scheduled by also the university. This is the very last day for midterms, the 17th. So it will be Thursday, as you can see my screen. Okay, so do your arrangement. So we will meet. Do your transportation arrangement in order to meet at the university, because exams must be physical attendance. Okay. All right. Today we need to cover an interesting article in the Act, and this article it's about the architectural and commercial protrude. اللي احنا I think if this is the right translation, this is called in Arabic البروزات المعمارية والبروزات التجارية والشرفات, balconies. So there is some kind of laws that govern balconies. However, in Article 33, um, the only land use category that you are allowed to do a commercial protrude, and now we will explain this and we'll see a couple of images, is the regular commercial in the land use. However, there is some kind of, I don't know if this is a mistake or it is something kind of a typo. As you can see in the fees table, you can see here there is, or this is above over here. You can see here this is the translation of commercial protrude. All right, and you can see they involve the central commercial within it. However, it has no mentioning in the law what is the regulation for it. In Article 33, as you can see, it's all 000. That means it is not applicable for residential A or whatever. It's only applicable according to the law. In Article 33 here is just available for the commercial protrude, is available for the land use category under regular commercial, right? But I don't know why here in the central commercial they have the fees for it. Well, in the tables they have the fees. That means it is you are eligible to do a commercial protrude, but we don't know what is the rules that govern the commercial protrude. However, I need to double check this. Honestly, I have just noticed this recently while checking the fees table, and need to do some couple of research regarding this matter. So in the commercial protrude, let me just give you or the balconies, or the commercial balconies, or the commercial protrude, which is over here. It's section 3. However, this looks like this. If you are seeing my screen, guys.
Yes.
According, if you can say like البروزات. I need this image, but I want another image. شارع عامر بن مالك ممكن. The commercial protrude is this one. Okay, can you see this protrude? That's almost 1.5 meters or 1.8 meters. This one.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what we call it the commercial protrude, and you can see over here. In the commercial, you can see this line is the boundary, the frontal boundary of the land. However, in the regular commercial, you are eligible to extend the higher top of your building. So we have here is the ground floor. This is called the mezzanine اللي هو بالعربي السدة, and we will cover this as well. You are eligible to do the commercial protrude once you achieve 5.5 meter in height. So this distance should be 5.5. Then in the regular commercial land use category, you are eligible to do either the commercial protrude or the commercial balcony. What is the difference between the commercial protrude and the commercial balcony? Is the balcony is open to outdoor air. The commercial protrude is within the building. You can see over here, this owner, he already did a commercial balcony, but then he sealed it with an aluminum glazed curtain wall. But the owner of this building, he already or she already involved it in the body of the building. So this is called commercial protrude. This is here. We are very lucky actually. And this is here is called a commercial balcony. However, they have the same rules of regulations, and you pay the same fees, whether it is open to outdoor or within the body of the building. Okay. So what is the rules of the commercial protrude? There's many rules. It all related to the width of the road. So the rule says, in order to get a permission to do the commercial protrude, well, as I told you, you need to pay a lot of money per each meter square. In the commercial protrude, as you can see in the table, is 40 GOD per meter square per each floor. So you need to pay for this one. Okay, this is considered as 1. This is considered as 2. Okay, then this is considered 3. This 4, 5, 6 times you need to pay. So each protrude you're going up, you need to pay. So, like for example, you have 1, 2, 3 floors. So you need to pay. Actually, no, not for 3 floors. You need to pay for 4 times, because they consider the roof as another area. So you are investing it or using it. So you have this floor 1, 2. The third floor, it's double time. The ground and the ceiling, you need to pay it twice. So in this building, you need to pay it 4 times. Okay, the same thing applies for the commercial. So in the very first floor, after achieving the first checkbox, اللي هو إنك أنت you are under the land use category, regular commercial, the width of the road, the main road. So you are not eligible to do the commercial protrude if the width is less than 10 meters. Okay, and this is written over here. If it is less than 10 meters, you are not eligible to do this. If it is from the width of the road between 10 and 14, so you are permitted, you are eligible to have a commercial protrude with the maximum depth of 1.40 centimeters. Okay, here we go. متر 40. In our case, in this image, the road almost 20 meters, I think. So if the road is above 16 meters, you are eligible to get it the depth for 1.80 meters. Okay. 1.80 meters. That is as you can see over here as well, they all have 1.80 meters. Why? Because the width of the road is uh, above 16 meters. So you can see they all have this commercial protrude. They all have a commercial protrude over here. You can see. So apart from this investor, he did it as a commercial balcony. Then he covered it with a curtain wall. Okay, is it clear?
Yes.
In terms of this is the commercial balcony, but there is, I think, there is an information that I may give it as a wrong number. يجب لا يخرج عن بين سقف البرود وين نقطة من الرصيف ولا يزيد عرض البروز عن عرض. Yeah. All right. There is another important. I told you like 5.5 meters, but this is applies for the mezzanine. But here, the minimum height is 3 meters, not 5.5. So from the level of the pavement, pedestrian pavement, up to this the bottom ceiling of the commercial protrude should be not less than 3 meters. Okay, that is the rule. So because here the land is almost even, but sometimes when you have topographic diluting topography, so this requires different levels of the building could be split into different levels. So anyway, when you are doing your design, you need to make sure that the minimum height, and this is in common sense. Imagine that this is less 2 meters, and there's people start like hitting their foreheads, or this could be a safety and hazard issue for the public. So minimum you should have at least a 3 meter clear height from this. For example, like this, introducing this item over here could be considered as يعني, illegal. However, these are small penalties that the government, the Amman is not like taken into consideration. Um, Moreover, there is a good information over here that the commercial protrude is exempted from the building total area. So, for example, floor to area building FRA building FRA building floor area ratio. No, FRA
FAR.
FAR floor. What's floor area ratio? Yes, floor area ratio to the land is exempted. So this all these areas in this all the areas over here is exempted to be considered in the building area, total building area, because well you pay a lot of money. That's why you are exempted, and it's not considered in the building area. So you need to be careful when you are doing these measurements. Um, so there is another thing you can do in the regular commercial is the concrete shades or the fabric one or the metal one. The thing is the depth should not be more than 2.5 meters in maximum, and the protrude should not exceed the boundaries of the pavement. So there is important thing. We need to differentiate between the boundaries of the pavement and the boundaries of the building. In this case, in front of us, this over here is the boundary of the land. However, here is the boundary of the pavement. And according to the law, you need to provide 1.5 meters in the commercial as a pavement. And this is the ownership of the public because you built it in the road. So this is the road, and this is the frontal setback. Okay. So sorry, I forgot the boundaries of the land almost could be, for example, over here because the frontal setback in this land category is 5 meters. So roughly speaking, could be somewhere over here. This is the land boundary, or maybe let's consider it in this electrical pillar. Let's assume. So this the distance from here up to here is the frontal setback. However, there is no side setback. You can see over here, it is zero. Here there is a road that's coming in between these two buildings. However, the setback is zero. All right. So this is the boundaries of the land. This is the boundary, the frontal boundary of the building. This is the boundary of the pavement. So it is almost 1.5 meters away from the boundary of the building. So if you decided to do a commercial, a shade, مظلة, whether it was from fabric or from a metal or concrete, even like a built stable one, so it should not exceed 2.5 meters. And the most important thing, should not exceed the limit of the pavement. So in this case, he can't get more than 1.5 meters. Okay. So in other cases, sometimes because the road gets more a curvilinear, you may get higher, like a wider, sorry, pavement, like 2.5 meters. So in this case, you are permitted to do a shade. Sometimes they are allowing this in buildings like this one. You can see that the sun is getting into the commercial outlet here over in all these shops, and this could get more gets warmer. So what they are allowing them, you can do the commercial shade, but should not exceed. Look over here, you can see the pavement almost 2 meter, and this is 2.5 meter. You can see over here, it is less. Okay, so depend on the land boundaries. All right, I need just to get this call, please. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
آه، ايش كنا بنحكي؟ Okay, so yes, you can see over here. Can you recognize this shade over here? So this is permitted, but the main obstruction is you need to adhere to the width of the pavement, but not more than 2.5 meters. Okay. And the height should not also be less than 2.5 meters as well. So the width, the depth of it. Can I zoom in this thing? I need to get over there.
Yeah.
Well, actually, this is the building right now that I am delivering my lecture from. That's because I know the place very well. So that's why I take this. Okay. You can see over here, that is permitted. However, it should not exceed the limit of the pavement. and it is being used from fabric. Okay, here we go. And this is the commercial protrude, all of this. Good. Um, Now we need to talk about, so you can see over here, this is article, subsection, and sub-subsections. This is all the building under the regular commercial zone. In this category, talks the buildings in the other categories. All buildings belongs to the other categories. This is called the commercial, oh sorry, the architectural or cosmetic protrude. It is, uh, you are not eligible to the body of your building to exceed the frontal setback or the sidal setback. However, you are permitted to do so, but only for architectural or for aesthetic reasons. And this is called البروزات المعمارية أو اللي هو architectural protrude. So the very example of this, example of this, I don't know where to find this, honestly. Maybe if I can go over here. Maybe over here. Here we go. So this is an example of architectural protrude. You see, this is considered, could be like according to the plan as a planting pots or planting beds. This is eligible by law, but the thing is the depth of it should not exceed more than 75 meters, so 75 centimeters. Another example could be over here. However, this is not included in the building. This is they just increase the width of the walls. Rock over there. You can see here some. So these columns over getting all this stuff is considered as commercial, architectural. You can see these lines, but this is included in the building. So you can't consider this. This is a balcony, right? This is a sealed balcony. All right.
So basically, the extrusions that people usually use like near their kitchens, as for example, like planters.
Yes, it should be mostly the use for planter or just for like doing some massing in order to break the classical rigid, straightforward facade. That's the whole idea of it. So you're not just obliged to do this. You can do some kind of ins and out, okay? Resist items like something similar to this architectural element. Yeah, that's the whole idea of it. However, yeah, some people, maybe this guy, he applied it as an architectural protrude or extrusion, but then he do some amendments and open it to indoor. However, this is illegal. Yeah. But the thing is, that's the law. They can't just get back to him after he gets the occupation permission and then اللي هو إذن الأشغال sometimes it's difficult. So recently, in some items, زي مثلا roof floor, because it has some kind of a permitted uses, they ask the owner to sign for a guarantee that he will not use it other than the functions that's been permitted by the law. Okay, so I hope I answered your question. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, thank you.
So that's the first thing is that it should not be more than 75 centimeters, sorry. Uh, Moreover, the commercial protrude should be not at the same leveling of the uh, of the slab of the building. It should be even higher or less. Why? In order to prevent people in the future to use it. However, as you can see, for example, if I would like to do this commercial protrude اللي هو بهذا المبنى, this is legal one. Why? Because I believe you can see the slab, it's almost in this level, and this is a higher level. So this is a totally correct architectural protrude or extrusion. Okay. However, this one is could be considered balcony. I don't know the case. Every building it has its own case and its own regulation, right? But this one is totally correct because it should not be at the same level. It should be even higher or less than the slab. So the idea is if it's the same level, it could be used as an extension of the building. The governors want them not to to use it for any functions because why? Because it could cause many problems, particularly with the neighbors. If imagine that this is could be used as a balcony, so you are breaching the privacy of this neighbor, and this could lead for many other issues. So that's the whole idea of you are not permitted to use it other than architectural cosmetics for the building or planting plot or whatever for in order to facilitate uh, green walls and green facade. Uh, anyway, should not exceed the boundaries of the land, and this is sometimes because you are in some land use categories, you have a zero setbacks in the side. In many cases, you are not permitted to go beyond the boundaries of the land, but you can build it within the setback limit. However, yeah, now we talk about very important thing, and this also belongs to the residential mainly, اللي هي مظلات المداخل أو اللي هي الانترانس شيد. الانترانس شيد. In our example over here, we have many beautiful cases. So this is called the entrance shade. This is a better example. See, this is an entrance shade. However, you can see this is a mass that's built in the frontal setback. However, you can see here is the frontal facade. This is the very last line that you are permitted to build on. But nobody asked me why we have this mass built on the frontal setback. In the law, you are permitted to do this, particularly in the residential. You can see over here. Okay, this is a good example for this is architectural protrude. You can see, Mire, this line, you see the mass over here. This is the اللي هو building boundary. This you can see it's getting a little bit, maybe 50 centimeters. This is architectural protrude. This also, this wall is architectural protrude. However, you can see this hanged or concrete shade is also getting in the area of the frontal setback. But this is permitted with some restrictions that we need to take it into consideration. Let me give you more examples because I almost passed through this area, so I am familiar of this. So you will find a very good example. You see, this is an entrance shape. Let me show you an example of a building that I was involved in designing and supervising it. Should be somewhere over here. You can see this is a building. Anyway, the building is not covered. It should be somewhere over here. Anyway, so I think we are familiar of it. But what the main, let me get back to it. The one over here. The best case is yeah, possibly this one is a good, or this one is fine. Yeah, I will go for this one. You can see there's architectural protrude and there is the building shed. So the rules are it should not, the width, okay, well here this distance from here to here, the width, it should not exceed the width of the staircase. So as I can imagine, this is the entrance and this is the stairwell or the staircase over here. It should not exceed the staircase. It should not exceed 1.5 of the width of the staircase. For example, if the width of the staircase is 3 meters, the width of the entrance here should not exceed 1.5, يعني should not exceed 4.5 meters. So لا يزيد عرض مظلة المدخل مرتفع عن 150% من عرض مكرر الدرج. And maximum 4 meters. So if you get this, the width of the staircase is 4 meters, doesn't mean that you are allowed to get the width of the entrance for اللي هو مرة 4.1.5 you 6 meters. Okay? No, the maximum width is 4 meters, but the main thing, if for example the width of the staircase, I don't know, can you understand what I'm talking? Because sometimes I need to. Yeah, is it clear?
No, it's clear.
Yeah. So just roughly speaking, you have this staircase entrance, main entrance of the building, and this is the width. For example, is 3 meters mainly. هذا هو typical one. So in the frontal setback, it should not exceed here 4 meters. Why? Because 3 multiplied by 1.5 is 4 meter and a half. So you are not allowed to do the problem. Maximum is 4 meters. Okay, to get this اللي هي الشيء. That's it. And also you are need to وبحد أعلى 4 متر وأن توفر لها ارتداد. The frontal setback also, this is important. So you are allowed to do it on the frontal setback. However, you need the maximum to get نحكي عن الدبث. This is the building line, for example, and this is my entrance shade, and this is the boundaries of my land. So how to measure what the depth that is permitted for me? Simple as this. If the frontal setback is 5 meters, you are only permitted to do the width maximum 2.5, 50% of the frontal setback. If it is 6 meters, you are permitted to do 3. All right? But there's no 6 meters frontal setback in only all functions. I don't know about the commercial or the industrial. Yeah? The thing is also, you in the section you are not permitted. Another important thing, the level in the section would not be at the same leveling of any doors. This is a section, for example, the building, and you have, this is the ground floor, for example, other GF, other first, the second, the third. And so, and when you do first floor, it should not be near to the leveling of any of these slabs. It should be in between, somewhere over here. So you are not, so the owner of this flat will not extend it and use the ceiling, or sorry, the roof of it for its own usage. Okay, however, we can find some functions that is illegal, but it caused some disturbance. So they get the permission of the, for example, let's assume you can see the ceiling, the roof of it, it's higher level. But what happens mainly, the owner of this flat, he adds some stairs and he extended his balcony. I don't know why, it's just طمع يعني الناس بتحب انها خلاص ما انه it's not a big deal يعني انك قاعد فرجة للي داخل واللي طالع يعني كذا. Be more honest. Anyway, so these are the rules. Moreover, you are permitted, sometimes you have mainly an entrance, sidal entrance, or a secondary entrance. So in the side, in the back, the rear setback, or on the sidal setback. However, they have the same rules, but maximum you will have the width of it is 3 meters, not as the frontal setback is 4 meter max. And it is the same thing, the same rule. The only thing that differs is frontal setback, you have a 4 meter. In the sidal or the rear setback, the maximum is 3 meters. Okay. The third thing is the arbor. اللي هم مظلات التعريش. الarbor is looks like this. اللي هي البيرجولاس بمعنى آخر. These called الarbors. However, تعرفوا الناس بتعملها من دون ما تاخذ permission ولا شيء، بس إذا أنت مثلا بدك تعمل لاندسكيب وبدك تعمل مخططات رسمية, you would like to officially register this. So there's a couple of rules that you need to take it into consideration. That's the very first rule is you should have it 50% solid, 50% void. Okay, that's mean in order to not to use it as a to extend it and then use it as a room for living, particularly because this one is permitted in the setbacks. So it should be 50% void, 50% open, 50% closed. And also the area of it should not exceed 5% of the total area of the land, or 50 meters square at max, whichever is low. That's mean, for example, if I have a land which is 1,000 meters and 1,100 meters, if we take the 5% of it, it will be, I think, 55 meters. So I'm not permitted to have an arbor area of 55 meters. No, the maximum amount, whether you have 10 columns or whatever at the same plot, maximum you will have 50 meters. Okay, or 5%, whichever is less. يعني احنا بنطلع if it's the 5% getting a number less than 50 meters, we will go for the less, not for the high. And you are permitted to do it in the side setback or the frontal setback as a in order to shade your car from the sun or whatever. Okay. Also, you can use it for some aesthetics reasons. Okay. Don't want to cover this one. التنسايل structure اللي هم looks like this. There is no one which is like this. It has no restriction for it. Particularly, the only one is you are permitted to do one tensile structure in the frontal or the side and setback, and should not exceed the height of it, the floor, the height of the floor that is connected to it. For example, if you're doing the ground floor, it should not exceed 3 meters or above the ceiling of the ground floor. Like for example, I don't know. Here's an example. Anyway, إنه زي هيك. It should not get particularly in a multi apartment buildings. So we have many stories. So you need to be careful not to the height of it to be higher than the level of the slab. Doors and windows, you are not permitted to open partially or totally. The door should be, or the windows open. That could affect the passage of a sidal setback or a road or a pedestrian pavement. And this is common sense because some of the buildings they have a zero setbacks. For example, the rear setbacks. So you're not permitted to open any doors on those roads. Okay. However, there's some kind of the balconies that that exceeds اللي هو building boundaries. Let's see. So okay. Remember the guy we were just talking about, the balconies over here? This case. I just noticed this honestly. Who had that guy? Okay, this also as well. Actually, we judge him wrong. So this is legal. I just realized this. Why? Because if it is residential and the property is located on the road that wider than 12 meters, you are permitted to do a sealed balcony. Okay, you can see over here. I was just like wonder why how did he did what he has done and how they permitted this. But here I just noticed in the law that you are permitted to do balconies like beyond the boundaries of the building, but you have some kind of restrictions. So you need to firstly the property to be located on a road that's a wider or 12 meter or wider in terms of width, and you can do it in the sidal or the rear setback. I think something what that mean this thing, and that mean if you have a sealed balcony, you can involve it to the body of your building. So what's going over here is totally legal. Let me just see over here. All right, you can see here. You can see over here. You can see over here, over there. All those guys, because their property are located on a road that is wider than 12 meter. Okay, so they are permitted to have these balconies. Okay, I don't know why those guys they don't do any of those. So it depends on the preferences of the owner. However, so this is what we called it the sealed balcony. Okay, because it is a balcony and it has a ceiling. However, this one over here is unsealed balcony and it's also permitted. Okay. So let's yeah. The thing is you are not permitted to get these balconies laid or being carried. I mean the load of it to be over pillars. So you can see you are not permitted to do a pillar over here, a structural pillar or column should be overhanged. Okay, that's the very first rule. Okay, just give me a second. Right. Uh, so لا يسمح يكون حد الأقصى المسموح به لعمق شباب من ارتداد الأمام باتجاه حد القطع الأمامي. Also, it's about the depth, the maximum one. You can see this area. This is the depth. It should be 25% of the frontal setback. For example, the frontal setback is 5 meters, as I believe in this case. 5 meters, what is the 25% is 1.75 صح؟ ونص متر لا 1.25 صح؟ bad calculator. So if the frontal setback is 5 meters, so 5 multiplied by 2.5, so you have a maximum depth of 1.25. I mean, talking about this depth, the one from the, however, okay, all these, the maximum one is 1.25, right? يجب Well, here it says that you are also required to get some kind of another depth from the building. So what they say is, if we get 1.25 as the maximum depth, you require to get this balcony 50%, يعني اللي هو 75 centimeters within the building, within the body of the building. So that means this balcony, if it's 1.25, you need to get 75% from the body of the building. But I don't see those guys are doing it. That's what they say, that you see this part, it should be recessed in the back 75 centimeters اللي هو 50% of the 1.5. or even less than 75 meters, like 60 centimeters or something. But I'm not seeing any of those guys is doing it. Maybe this guy is did some of it, but those I don't know. Well, the whole idea is like you see this thing, it should be 60 centimeters in the back, recessed. Anyway, it's a good, actually, it's a new information for me as well, because this is a very large document. أن لا يزيد طول الشرفات على الوجه الأمامية 50% of yeah, exactly. Also, you are not required the maximum. So, example, you see, this is the frontal elevation width. So, example, if this is 20 meters, you are the maximum amount of the width, okay, not the depth, the width, اللي هو height distance. It should not exceed, the total amount of them should not exceed 50% of the frontal elevation distance. For example, the frontal elevation from this point to this point is 20 meters. So this should be maximum 5 meters, and this is maximum 5 meters. So there is a control on the width, the depth, sorry, and on the width of the sealed balcony. You can see over here the same thing. So that's why he left some part of it in order to get so not will exceed 50% of the frontal elevation. You can see over here the same thing. So he did not connect it all the way. He just gave it for one single room. All right, understood? Moreover, these sealed balconies should be open from all the sides. So you need to get 180 angle تبعتك 180. So it should be open, the sidal setbacks. It should not be closed from the boundaries. Or they actually can see over here, it is not closed. It's not closed. It is open. You see? Here we go. So it is open from all the sides. And it should belong to the resident, where the residence where it's belong, where it's attached. It is exempted from the building area, and that's important for the calculation of the FAR, floor area ratio of RA. And there is some restriction and there's some guarantees that the local council may ask the owner to sign it in order to make sure that the owner or the future owners adhere to the building regulations. Article 43 and the remaining ones, we will discuss them tomorrow. I think that today is enough for all this information. Tomorrow we will meet again and we will discuss the remaining article اللي هو 30, 34 and 35 and 36, I think. What is this? Maybe 37. We'll go through them quickly. Yeah. So we may cover the remaining 3 articles for tomorrow. Okay. Is there any questions or any inquiries, ladies?
Doctora, what time will the midterm
The
take
same
place?
timing as the lecture timing. Same lecture time.
Okay.
10 to 11 will be 10 to 11 at 11:30, whatever.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.